Desu wrote in saying, how would you deal with the problem of lobbying and lobbyists? This is like a 30,000-foot issue that really requires a lot of discussion. But I think a couple points are, number one, you've got to fix regulatory capture. Regulatory capture where the players in the industry that is supposed to be regulated end up controlling the regulator or the agency that is doing the regulating. You've got to deal with that, and more broadly, the sort of revolving door that exists that Donald Trump initially claimed he wanted to fix, but of course he hasn't. If anything, he's pushed it to become an even bigger and bigger issue in his administration. You've got to deal with that in some way. And I actually think that people underestimate the impact of campaign finance on lobbyists and lobbying. If you really had anonymous contributions, like, let me give you an example. Yeah. If I believe that Bernie Sanders is better for the country, and I don't expect anything personally as a result of donating to Bernie Sanders, I would have no problem donating anonymously, but not anonymously where the public doesn't know who donated. I mean anonymously where even the recipient elected official doesn't know who donated.
Interesting, yeah.
Because if they don't know who donated, it's much more difficult for them to end up doing favors, and it might disincentivize or deflate even the desire for lobbyists to make those contributions.
You're probably going to see a lot fewer contributions, though, because if people can't get the credit for it, if companies can't get the credit for it,
why would they do it? And I think that that's good, and maybe it would get us going in the direction of public financing of elections or something like that. And it's dicey because you do want to allow underserved groups to have representation, and then the question is, how do you do it? Because just because something is a lobby doesn't mean it's necessarily good or bad. There are you can lobby for something that would be positive for the whole on the net for humanity, or negative, and that is a concern anytime you talk about just eliminating even the process by which lobbying takes place, because there are lobbies for very worthwhile causes.
I think that the revolving door is a big deal, especially because, I mean, we poked fun at Trump's ban on those who serve in his administration for 5 years can't become lobbyists.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, most of the corruption is going on in the legislative branch, right?
Yes, indeed.
I think we have to make it so that if you serve in Congress, if you serve in the Senate, you're banned for life from going into lobbying. And that's a hard thing to draw because, you know, does consulting count? Does it work the other way around? Can a lobbyist become a senator? Can a consultant become a congressman? I don't know, but I think there's a way forward on that.
There probably is, but it is tricky, especially because, like you said, consulting, I think, pretty clearly is lobbying. What about being just a lawyer, though, right? And that a lot of times is a way to hide lobbying efforts. And how can you say somebody who's been a lawyer and then they served in Congress, they're just going back and being lawyers? That's all they're doing. How can you prevent them from doing that? Last thing, if Congress increased how much it funds organizations like the Congressional Research Service and the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, if those agencies had more funding, they could turn out reports and investigate more policy issues. And part of the problem is that Congress ends up relying on reports that are created by lobbyists to make decisions about policy. If you eliminate their need to do that by getting better funding for these other entities, you might also kind of remove the need for lobbyists to say, hey, we would like to research X topic for you. And of course, the recommendations will be very, very good for our clients if you enact them. I think that that's a small thing, but it also could be useful and positive.
Yeah, this is a big deal. When people talk about why they disapprove of Congress, they talk about the revolving door, they talk about wanting to drain the swamp.
Yeah.
Lobbying is the heart of the issue, I think.
It's a big part of it. Lobbying and campaign finance, which are connected. They're very, very related issues. That's it for today. We have got a brilliant bonus show for you today. I hope you'll join us. You can sign up at davidpakman.com/membership, get instant access to the bonus show. You can also make a pledge at patreon.com/davidpakmanshow. $5 a month gets you instant access to the bonus show, which is coming up next.